So let me tell you how much I love you guys, because listen, if you follow me on Instagram and you were watching my Instagram stories, you already know. I was not pleased. I was just like, I can't stand Colton. I can't stand Cassie. I'm done with The Bachelor. I feel like I go through this every Bachelor and Bachelorette. I quit the show every season, but I felt like I was really done because I was just like, what? Like I couldn't. You guys, I was pissed. I was pissed. But I love my people, and the Bachelor Whisperer cannot leave you abandoned. So let's get into this messy review. So we start off where the last episode left off. Colton is, somewhere walking around Portugal, and Chris Harrison is acting like he lost Colton. Like, really? You mean to tell me you lost this giant in church shoes? He got away that fast? Okay, so Chris is doing his acting bit like, oh my goodness, where is he? If we can't find him, we gotta call the police. So suddenly, he manifests with a whole film crew and a producer chasing him. What I want to talk about is this. Did you guys see when he pushed that producer? She walked up to him and she put her hand on his shoulder. She was just like, are you okay? He pushed that woman clear across the street. I was just like, oh no, Colton. I really talked about that, but that bothered me. I was just like, dude, I get you're pissed and upset, but you just pushed a woman across the street, and it ain't like you tiny. That girl was shook. She didn't come back after that. But you know what? He got the right one. Because let me tell you something, baby. I don't care how tall you are, how thick you are. You push me across the street, I'm coming back with a brick or a blade. You better get ready. I will say, though, he's putting in some miles in them church shoes. Like, they have video footage of him walking for a very long time in them hard block Kojic church shoes. Now, he just threatens to quit the show. Wow. To hell with Skipper and Tay. Like, this dude is such trash. Basura, right? Because I told you guys, Colton just got hot. He does not know how to be in this body yet. You know what I mean? Like when he showed that picture of him from back in the day, I was just like, yeah, you were not sure about your looks. You were an insecure kid. And Cassie represents the kind of girl that he could never get. Now that he has a space where he can grasp her and she rejected him, I felt like all of his insecurities came back. All of his insecurities that he was feeling because the show made him feel himself. So he felt like he was finally manifesting into that hot, popular high school jock he's always wanted to be. And now he's getting like the cheerleader, cool chick. And he feels like he's finally coming to the man that he wants to be, but then she rejects him. So everything comes out and we finally get to see who he really is. That punk that pushed that lady across the street. That one that sat there and whined and cried because he didn't get his way and he didn't get what he wanted. This man at this point is a good 27. 27, you pushing 30 and you're acting like a grown child? Women have to deal with so much. Like, it's ridiculous the amount of mess we have to put up with men. How broken, how unput together we have to receive them and then put them together and they give nothing back. Being straight, Jesus! Not a choice, okay? Do you see what we got to deal with out here? Like we got the pick of the litter. No, we don't. We got the trash of the womb. For me, I was so frustrated with this whole scene because Colton is crying, having an entire hissy fit. I'm quitting the show and just being really immature about the whole situation. And again, like he's 27 at this point of the filming, probably 28 at this point. And you're watching this grown man have a meltdown because a chick in a bodycon dress from Forever 21 told him she's not ready to commit to him after 3 dates. Dude, are you kidding me? This is your reaction? And guys, I gotta be honest, not just because I didn't like how he did Tay and Skipper in this show. His behavior to me was very toxic. Very, very toxic. I couldn't get behind it. I couldn't get behind it at all. This toxic behavior to me manifests when he says this. I think he's talking to Chris Harrison at this point and talking about why he wants to quit the show. And he's basically saying if Tay and Skipper weren't a factor, if the cameras weren't here, if all of these things weren't around, she would want me. And it bothered me because Cassie, for several episodes, has told this dude I'm not there. Then she's tried to leave him several times and he keeps on trying to manipulate her to stay. Even when she left, she said to him, I hope you find somebody that's madly in love with you. Letting you know it ain't me, dude. So then, instead of taking that no, he goes into this, oh, I gotta rescue her. She really doesn't know how she feels yet. And can we talk about, we'll get into it a little bit later in my next review, but then after the final rose, where Cassie talks about how she's glad that Colton came after her because she was confused and she didn't know what to do, and he helped her figure it out. Girl, what? No, you made your decision. You told that boy no, he should have accepted it and walked the hell on. Bringing the cameras to manipulate you to say, but you was in on it anyway. But I'm just saying, the narrative that they were showing to me was very toxic and unhealthy. To say that if it wasn't for Tay-Tay, if it wasn't for Skipper, if it wasn't for the cameras, if it wasn't for this show that this heifer auditioned for, then y'all would have been together. I was just like, this is Real ID channel, Real ID channel. So then after he blames everybody else for Cassie leaving him, he goes to break up with Tay-Tay. I felt so bad for that girl. She opened that door so excited to see that fool. And he sits her down and he tells her that I'm in love with Cassie, not you. And I'm, this is it. Like the show was done. And then Tay-Tay, this is the thing, right, guys? I know this show was fake, okay? I tell you guys as much as I can because I ain't got the coins to get sued. But when you live out here in LA, you just know, you know what I mean? Like, everybody talks. The thing about it is, in this industry, everybody talks. We just don't talk to people outside of the industry, but we know everybody's tea. Like I review the show because I like it. You know what I mean? I enjoy reviewing it for you guys more, but there is so much stuff that I do know that I don't say because I don't want to spoil it for you guys. If you're having a good time, I want you to have a good time. So I'm going to be as safe as I can be with this when I say this, but I gotta be real. This ain't real. You know what I mean? Like, The Bachelor is not Tristan and Ryan anymore. And I keep on trying to reiterate that. It's different at this point. Half of these people, majority of these people, if they don't live out here, they have aspirations on moving out here because a lot of them want to be in the entertainment industry in some area. If not as a dancer, if not as an actor, if not as a host, they want to be some kind of celebrity because the Kardashians and people of that nature have made it very popular to be a socialite. So a lot of them look at this show as a way of getting that exposure, as a way of gaining all these Instagram followers, as a way to bargain with brands and to get into shows and say, I have this many followers. Can I review your thing for a certain amount of money? Like, that is just the business, right? So I'm very aware that Cassie and Colton are scamming this show. I called it from day one, right? However, I don't feel that way about Tay-Tay. And I don't feel that way about Skipper. So this is when I get real. Because just like Becca, I watched this girl get her heart broken. And that pissed me off because, dude, you could have did this before the fantasy suites. You didn't even have to bring these girls all the way out here. Even take Tay-Tay on a date. Spend the night knee deep in her coochie to then the next day say, guess what? I'm going with somebody else. Because both of y'all said y'all were intimate that night. And Colton, you knew that you wanted Cassie. Why be intimate with this girl who was not in on the scam? Why? Why get her emotions all riled up like that? Because ladies, we all know that when we're feeling a dude, getting physical with him either enhances that emotion or it just says, you ain't the one for me. Like, we all have that. We're just like, oh my gosh, I was so into this guy and then we made out and then, some other things happened and I want him. That's my man. You know what I mean? So to even add the physicalness onto the fact that she was already falling in love with you, telling you that she loved you, to then the next day say, well, I'm deeply and madly in love with Cassie so much that I'm quitting the show for her. You cannot manifest those emotions overnight. So Tay-Tay is sitting here like, you've been feeling this way. Why did you touch me? Why did you do that stuff with me last night? Why even bring me here if this isn't what you were feeling? That got me because that girl wasn't acting. That's how she really felt. Then she was just like, can we do this without the cameras? Because she was dealing with a lot at that moment. And at this point, she didn't want to be filmed. So they go in the room and you know what this manipulative fool does? He starts to cry. He is that dude. I'm telling you guys, he is that dude. I'm telling you. It is always that nice guy that nobody suspects. Everybody thinks, oh, him, he could never do that. He could never treat you like that. Are you serious? He's such a sweet guy. He's so nice. Oh, he was never like that to me. I'm telling y'all, that's exactly who he is, or who he is portraying on this show, because he was cool, calm, and collected. Then as soon as they got in that room and he knew that he really hurt that girl, he started to cry. So Tay can't even release her anger, her disappointment on him, because she goes into what women always do. We comfort. She starts making him feel better. Oh no, it's okay. It's okay. Denying all of her emotions because this big man is crying and telling her that he's so sorry. He didn't mean to do it. Absolutely not, bro. You knew exactly what you were doing. You knew you wanted that woman before you took these 3 women out to Portugal. You knew before them fantasy suites. You knew, bro. You probably knew when you was grabbing her behind on that island. You knew. But you still play with this girl's heart. That's the thing. I get it's a TV show, right? My problem is when people who are not in on the TV show scam get hurt. I just gotta be real. Because Tay wasn't in on it. She wasn't. And she felt like a fool. There's so many things wrapped in that as well. You know, also with her being the only Black woman on the show. You know what I mean? To get this far, to then have the lead come and tell you, oh, it's not possible. Me and you can't make it. So she's feeling humiliated already, because especially as a Black woman, when you're in an interracial relationship, especially with a white man, the hell we go through, my God, today, even if you love the dude, sometimes it's not even worth the pushback, right? And also feeling like a fool for telling this dude all of this stuff, for letting him touch her body in ways that they were both giddy about the next day. For him to then come and say, I am in love with somebody else, so I gotta go. I ain't even getting into Skipper, who rightfully read him. But Tay is so sweet. She's so sweet and she's so kind. She comforts the dude and she lets him leave. And I'm just like, girl, he deserved all of your anger. You did not have to be so kind to him. He didn't deserve it. He didn't deserve it. Colton was playing this game all the way up until the end, because let me tell you something. For him to quit the show because Cassie wanted to leave right after he left from eating Tay coochie, he been knew he wanted that girl. So you gotta think, how would you feel? Like, you know what I mean? Like, have we not all been there? Or maybe it's just me. When you were like, you're with this one guy and you're dating this dude, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere, he pops up with another chick. And you and this chick are getting the same kind of convo and the same dude. But you can't really fathom it. It's such a shock to you because you're just like, you were this way with me. You told me all these things. You told me you loved me. How could you do that? Because you can't fathom that, because that's not something you would ever do. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that Colton said that he loved Tay, but this dude was intimate with her in more ways than one. Capping up her head, telling her all these things. We've all been there. And then you go and get with somebody else. And you're left feeling just embarrassed, mortified. You think of all the stuff you did with that dude, all the stuff you told that dude, and you're just like, oh my goodness, I was on one page, he wasn't on the same page, but he led me to believe we were on the same page. That's what pissed me off about this. That's the only thing. If Colton cut like Tia, you know what I mean? Or one of them people that's just like, okay, it's a TV show, let's have a good time, I'd be good. I totally hated how he treated Tay and Skipper. They didn't deserve that at all. And if he is this upright, sweet, oblivious virgin, then you should have known how that feels, and you shouldn't have did it to somebody else. But you did it for a good coin and fame. And it didn't work out, baby, because let me tell you something. This show was not trending on Twitter. You know it was? Aunt Becky. Look how God came in and stole your fame just like that. You had 15 minutes and he took it away in 1 second. See, when you do clownery, the clown comes back to bite. So before we get into Skipper, let's talk about how Chris Harrison had a sit down with Tay. And I'm telling you, I felt like that girl wanted to say more and express herself more, but she was auditioning for the Bachelorette. So she was playing it safe. You know what I mean? I wish we could have got an interview with her and Skipper after they announced Hannah B, because I just felt like she was still trying to get a role. And so because of that, we could not get her true feelings. Because even in this sit down, she's still giving him all the grace he does not deserve. Colton deserved no grace from her. He deserved no kindness, but she still gave it to him. And you know what, auditioning or not, I think that's just who Tay is. That is just who she is. And that made me feel even worse for her. You know what I mean? I just was like, you're such a nice person. And I hate the fact that you got caught up in this whole thing, because show business it's rewarding at times. It's also extremely messy and shady and toxic. And if you're not built for this, it will chew you up and spit you out. And I just felt like she, got show business 101, and it was all with her heart. And I just feel bad for her. I really, really, really do. Moving on, let's talk about Colton's hair. Child, what the hell was that? What in the Jersey Shore was going on? It was like pointed, and I don't know. It looked like he was electrocuted, or maybe he was trying to do Johnny Bravo, but he didn't have enough hair to do the Johnny Bravo. And then he was noticeably darker. What is going on with this look? Like, I don't know what Cassie got you doing, because them LA girls will have men doing all kinds of stuff to their face. They will have grown men getting liposuction, getting Botox and fillers. And I feel like he's getting this LA makeover because he lives out here now. Probably in the valley with all the reality TV stars. But I feel like he's getting this Hollywood makeover, and unlike Hannah B, it's not working out for him. It's just not working out for him, because this hair was a hot mess. Why are you messing with your natural texture? You know what, to my white friends who watch me, right? Is there like a stigma amongst specifically white men and women as well? If you have like curly hair, do you guys like get stereotyped, or do you experience any kind of mistreatment because of that? Because I know a lot of, know personally and know of, and have been around white people who have naturally curly hair who straighten it daily. And it's to the point where I'm like, is it for a look, or is it to not experience some kind of mistreatment? Because one of my really good friends from college, she has this gorgeous, naturally curly hair, like just thick, beautiful curls. She's a white woman, right? She went through a lot, and then we had a huge conversation about hair, and she talked about just like straightening her hair and cutting her hair, because she got a lot of discrimination because of that. And it was just, for me, it was just weird hearing a white person talk about hair discrimination. You know what I mean? I would have never known that somebody not Black in America would have to deal with that as well, because my people is all I know, to be quite honest with you, right? So is that a thing? Because I only know one person personally who has went through that, but I do know a lot of white people who have naturally curly hair who straighten their hair. And I want to know if that is an issue, because Colton is not the first man that I've seen do this. And their hair looks actually better curly, but they straighten it for some reason. And it's just like, why is that? Is there a stigma going on? Like, do you experience a bit of what it's like to be Black? Like, what's going on here? Because he looks horrible. And the fact that he can't see that because he wants this straight hair, gives me pause. That's all. Let's move on. So then Colton sashays over to Skipper's hotel room, and she is just excited to see him. And right before she's in her confessional talking about how much she is in love with him. When she's sitting there so giddy, so happy about being in love with this dude, I'm just like, sis, burn it down. Burn it all down. I want your rage. You deserve to give this man everything he's got coming to him, right? So he goes in and he sits her down and he's just like, well, I'm in love with Cassie, and I'm going to make this work with her. Skipper blindsided, as she should be. As she should be. He never gave her or any woman an inkling that he was not interested in them. You know what I mean? Like, Colton has this thing that he's done all season where he's not clear. He's not clear with the women, with where he's at with them, right? So all of these women, when they do get cut by him, the ones who haven't fled the set, are always confused. And I'm like, and to me, I'm like, that's you. You are giving off mixed signals. You are not clear at all about how you feel, what you want. And I'm not blaming him being a virgin, because guys, there are people who are not sexually active who have wisdom. It's not about being holy or pure or any of that mess. It's probably because they don't feel like it. Not everybody wants to have sex. Like, not everybody wants to be in a sexual relationship with people. Some people just want to have platonic friendships. Some people just don't have that sex drive. It is very, very normal, right? So I'm not going to put Colton being misleading and leading these women on him being a virgin. This is just who he is, and it's horrible. So Skipper is blindsided by this. She starts to like go into like this shock, you know what I mean? Where at this point, it is no longer the Colton show, because let me tell you something. Colton came in here to do the same thing with her that he did with Tay Tay. He wanted to own that scene and he wanted it to all be about him. But what he didn't expect was for Hannah G, I finally got her name right, Skipper, to go off. You know what I mean? Because she was sitting there like, wait, I'm blindsided. She's sitting here thinking that her man is coming to scoop her up. He's coming to dump her for Cassie, who left the show. And she's like, wait, I didn't know we were here. You're telling me something different. And then when she said this, that's when I got on Instagram and went off. She said, that's what I do. I make people better, and then they don't stick around. Oh, I lost it. I lost it, because I'm like, this is real for this girl. This is real for this girl. And this dude is just trying to get on Netflix. You know what I mean? Like, this is the real deal for her. But then after she gets over the shock, rage starts to set in, because Colton is sitting over here trying to cry. And she's just like, I know you're upset, but I feel like you just did to me what Cassie did to you. And I said, yes, girl, read. That's exactly what he did to her. And she called him on it. And then she said, you know what? I deserve somebody who loves me just as much as I love them. And Colton couldn't handle it, because she's stealing the scene from him. She's stealing the attention, and he's starting to look like the bad guy. So what does this manipulative, jolly green giant do? Starts to cry. Oh, he is that guy. Oh, he is that guy. Cassie, you better get free. He starts to cry and become this whole baby thing. He walks out. Oh, I think I'm making a mistake. No, you don't think that. You knew the decision you were going to make when you walked over here. You knew exactly what you were going to do, but because that girl did not give you the same comfort that Tay Tay gave you, you had to pull it back, and he had to direct this narrative, because it was turning a different way. It was turning a different way, and he started to cry, and the producer, you okay? And they're hugging him. I just feel like I'm making a bad choice. Nah, bro. I already peeped your game in paradise. I know exactly what you're doing. And Skipper wasn't letting you off the hook, rightfully so. And even after Colton did that dramatic exit, Skipper was still going off in her confessional. She was just like, I'm blindsided. Like, how do you do that to me? You're not telling me anything that's going on. I don't know that we're at this point. I'm telling you that I love you. You're meeting my family. Like, how are we here? How are we here? Because I'm getting something else from you. And then for you to come in and tell me that you're in love with somebody else who quit the show, I gotta be okay with that? She's going through everything in her mind, and she's just like, this dude never gave me any warning. He never let me know that he was in a different place with other people. He made me feel like I was the only one. He played you. You got played. You got played. Who watches Love at the Lockup? You got played. She got played. And we all watched it. And so she's rightfully pissed. I still think that both of them were too kind to him. We would have fought. Oh, me and Colton would have fought. I guarantee you. We would have been boxing as soon as he said, oh, I'm leaving because I'm in love with Cassie. Oh, really? Oh, I am breaking that big Botox jaw. Don't play me on national TV. How dare you? How dare you? Fondling these women, kissing all on them, eating their coochie, and then you gonna tell them, oh, I'm quitting the show because I done brought you over here, but I don't really want you. He deserves everything that comes to him. Then Skipper comes out and she meets with Colton and Chris Harrison, and she's still in that same place. I feel like she was auditioning too, because she was giving me some tears. I felt this was real, but I felt like she was also auditioning, so she was a little bit, more reserved. But, I love the fact that she told Colton, I trusted you. Like, you brought me over here. You let me on. She was very honest, and I love that. But can we talk about how Chris Harrison all night could not wait to talk about Colton's hair? And I'm telling you, when the camera got that side profile, I was like, what the hell? What's going on with this dude's hair? Oh, a mess. So then we get this sit down, because there's no more women left on the show. We get to sit down with Blake, Jason, Ben, and who was the other one? Garrett, who I forgot was there. Ciao. And Becca was somewhere in the building or whatever. Can I just say, I think Chris Harrison is a great host for The Bachelor and The Bachelorette, and Paradise as well. He doesn't know how to do interviews. Maybe he knows how to do interviews when it's one-on-one. When it's multiple people, I just feel like he blanks out, and he doesn't know how to keep the show rolling in that aspect. Because even with the Women Tell All, The women were flying off the handle. Chris could never like get them back together. We couldn't really hear what was going on. It was just a bunch of women screaming over each other, and he just did not know how to bring it in, right? Now, with this interview with Ben, Blake, Jason, and Garrett, it's awkward. It was really, really awkward. There were so many pregnant pauses. It was a very cringy interview because none of the guys really said anything that made sense. Jason was the only one who was just like, well, after this heartbreak, you'll find the one. And I guess he was trying to tell Bachelor Nation that he's in a relationship with some girl from the Bachelor Nation or whatever. And I don't know. It just was cringy. I was just like, why is there so many pauses? What's going on? Somebody say something. And then a lot of them are like nervous. I don't know. It just, we didn't need it. They had to fill space because there were no more women left to talk to on the show. Okay, so let's wrap this review up because I want to get to the final roles. At the end of this episode, we get this clip of Colton going after Cassie. And again, I know that both Cassie and Colton is scamming. Remember, I told you guys at the beginning of this season that Colton is going to either pick Cassie or Kaylin because he needs to pick somebody that he can scam with on the show. Even Katie as well. I felt like those were the girls that would go along with this scam. So I knew that he was going to pick one of them. He had to pick somebody who was going to be able to do all of that stuff, to go on Jimmy Kimmel, to go on Good Morning America, to pose on the People magazine and say all these lies to get the fans believing in love, and then to go to all these Hollywood parties and to fake engagements and all of this crap, and then within a year, after nobody cares anymore, break up and go live their best lives. So I knew he was going to pick one of them, right? My issue is the narrative of this season. Like, the theme here is women don't know what they want. So even when you say no to a guy, you shouldn't really believe you because you don't really know what you want. So Cassie has said no to Colton multiple times. Multiple. After she hugged him, not a tear being shed, I hope you find someone that's as madly in love with you as you are with me. She was letting you know, I'm not there. I ain't ever gonna get there. I'm so not there. I want you to be with somebody else. But he says, oh no, I'm gonna go get her. I'm gonna go chase her because I feel like if none of this was a factor, then she would still want me. No, if a woman wants you, we don't care what the hell a factor is. Hell, we'll even sit with you through prison. There's a whole show about it. You know what I mean? So it's like the girl said no. So trying to make this, and I guess it's also the time that we're in. This season doesn't call for this guy rescuing a woman from a situation, even when she tells you she's safe and okay. Like, you didn't need to go after Cassie. She told you no. She told you that she didn't want you. Why are you taking a camera crew and all of this stuff to go after this girl who doesn't even really like you? Like, she likes you like a friend, basically. The sad part is we all know that Cassie said yes. Cassie said yes because Cassie is filming another season of Younger. You know what I mean? Like, this girl is securing the bag, and I ain't never mad at a woman securing the bag, right? But the way you're securing it is with an unhealthy narrative. And I just, as somebody who knows the real deal, I get bothered because people are being duped to believe that this is the real deal, and it's not. Anyway, let's move on to the final roles. I want to put the video somewhere up here. So just click on this or click on that. Wherever it is, let's talk.